Okay, we just left off over here. We had quoted a brisa. There's an argument between Reb Nosson and Rebbe in the brisa, and Abai is coming to reconcile the Mishnah with the brisa. The Mishnah says a man marries a woman, and we don't know about brothers, we don't know about children, and before he dies he says, I have sons. I have sons. So it says he's believed. If he says he has brothers, he's not believed. So Abayi says, the Mishnah is speaking about, we don't know anything about brothers. So what is a chazaka? Her presumed status is that she's free to marry as soon as she's widowed. So therefore, when he says, I have sons, it's not contrary to the chazaka. There's no chazaka, right? Because there's no brothers. I mean, what's a chazaka? The presumed status was that when she's widowed, she can marry immediately. So when he says, I have sons, it doesn't in any way contradict the presumed status. But if he says, I have brothers, that contradicts the presumed status. Therefore, he's not believed. Therefore, she's free to marry. Because it's going keneged the chazaka because she has a cheskes heter l'shuk. Right? He said, the brisa is speaking, there was a chazaka that they were brothers. We don't know factually, but they said they were brothers. They were brothers. So, just get back to over here. The muhzak lom ba'ochi. V'lo muhzak lom b'boni. There was a chazaka that they were brothers, although there were no edim. No edim ever testified. There were no witnesses that they were brothers. Muhzak, no. Muhzak, word was out there that they were brothers. One second. Let's read the Gemara. V'lo muhzak lom b'boni. Da'amira mali l'shakir. My Komar. Lemiftra miyavam motzi omar patrona lebigito. Because to free her from the yavam, he says, look, if I give her a get, so believe me that that there are children, even though the word is out that they're brothers, because I could free her with a get. And that's biyodo. Rebbe Sovamali l'shakir ki edim damu. Since when he married her, he says, I have sons. Although initially the word is out that they're brothers there, but since he's able to negate that chazaka by saying when he says I have sons, because he could actually interfere with that process by giving a get, we believe him. Losi edim akri chazaka. So that statement over there nullifies the chazaka that they're brothers. Therefore now when she's widowed, she can marry without a problem. Even though he says before he dies, I have brothers. I have no sons, I have brothers. Reb Nosson Savano Mali l'Shakir Ki Chazoka Domi. When he originally says, I have sons, it's no better, we'll see in a moment, than the original Chazoka. Lo Osi Chazoka Va'akri Chazoka L'Gamri. The original Chazoka, when word was out that he had brothers and he said, I have sons, that doesn't nullify the Chazoka totally. Doesn't nullify it. It doesn't totally cause that it's as if it doesn't exist. So now when he says, I have brothers, it reestablishes the chazaka. So let's see Rashi on this, because it's difficult. Reb Nosson Sovar, v'lo as chazok demalo l'shak v'okra chazoka kamaisa. Davikoi bo kodem kiddushin, l'ukmo lach b'chaska she'en iskuka l'misl diburei b'shas misa. He says, before he married her, word was she had brothers. He had brothers, so she was concerned. I don't want to marry a man. If we don't have children, I'm going to fall to Ibum. So he says, I have sons. That's what he says, I have sons. Before the kiddushin, the word was he had brothers. She's concerned. He's an older man, she's a young woman. He says, you don't have to worry, I have sons. And then they get married. He says, I have sons, you have nothing to worry about. Okay? Wait a second. He says, I have sons. Now, if he dies, everybody agrees. He never retracted from that, she's free to marry. What happens now before he dies? He says, I have brothers. That's what he says. I have brothers, I have no sons. Do we allow her to remarry? Rebbe says we allow her to remarry. Rebbe No says that we don't allow her to remarry. We don't. So, according to Rebbe, that he says, I have no sons and I have brothers, he's not believed because he already established originally that there were no brothers when he said I had sons. That means she's already free to remarry. Since as if witness said there are no brothers, so if there are no brothers, what he says now is contrary to what the equivalent of what witnesses had said. Reb Nosson says no. When he says, I have, originally the word was that he had brothers, he had sons. When he said he had sons, although he could absolve her, he could free her because he could give a get, it doesn't totally nullify, negate the chazaka as if the chazaka doesn't exist. It's weakened. We'll see in a moment. It's weakened. It's weakened. But the chazaka is there. That's what I want to see Rashi. Miwi lohoda be, he says. That he could have given a get, that doesn't totally nullify, uproot the original chazaka. Davikoi bo kodem kiddushin. To establish her that she's not bound to brothers if they're there. Lemipsla diburei b'shas misa. So if the question is, if that chazaka still lingers on, so if he, let's say he didn't retract, and he said originally, I have sons, we allow her to remarry. But if we're saying that the Mali Shaka doesn't nullify that, so we should remain a suffix, right? When he first married her. It did. He says it did not negate. No, it's irrelevant because he's Malu the Shakir. But that because he gave her a get, he could free her. Wait a second. But again, he could. But he could. He could. Umiwi lohoda base. So now the question is, if actually his statement that I have sons doesn't totally nullify the original chazaka that they were brothers. Word was out. The word was birth. Now he says I have sons. So I have sons. Said brothers are irrelevant now. Now the sons are irrelevant. Now the brothers are irrelevant. If he has sons, now he says I have no sons. Yeah, I have no sons. There's no chazaka. No chazaka. Now the question is, what do you believe? So Rebbe says it's irrelevant what he says. He has no sons. She remains as she originally when she got married. Nosa says no, she's also. So that's the question. What's the base for the arguments? He says because when he originally said he had sons, he didn't totally nullify that chazaka. It was weakened. So because it's weakened, so therefore, now when he dies and he has brothers, we don't allow it to remarry. Right? No, because that's the reason why it's weakened. So, but the question is now, let's say he wouldn't say anything. He sticks to what he originally said. We allow her to get married. So Rashi is going to ask him the question, but if the chazaka lingers on, how do we let her get married even if he doesn't say a word? Right? That original chazaka wasn't fully negated. Well, that's why I'm reading Rashi. Miu lo hoda bei hu shariu lauma. If he didn't retract, we will allow her to. She's permitted to get married. Nihid lo ashe chazaka v'okra chazaka legamri. Although the original chazaka wasn't uprooted and negated fully, uri miyah israoi. It was weakened. We'll see. Chokamod lo iskachesh dibura kamo. And as long as his original statement wasn't countered, wasn't contradicted by himself, mehemin, we believe him. We believe him that isli boni, that he has children. Why? Dein odom choti v'lo lo. Because the person is not going to sin, he has no benefit from it. Islay ochi, but if he says islay ochi, have a hodi baby shas misa. Right? What? Right. So that's the reason why I ignore that the original, the weakened chazok. If he says ochi, I have brothers, so then that strengthens, that gives credence to that weakened chazaka. I have to take that into account. The chazaka is weakened, right? Kol kamad lo iskachish diburi kama mehemin. Dein odom choti v'lo lo. He's believed. Vilu islay ochi havahodabei b'shas misa. Because if he would have had brothers, he would not allow it to remarry, because it's a sin. It's sinful. So there's an anan sadi that if you, well, but he's the one who's causing it, right? He's causing it. What I'm saying, so it's what we call anan sadi. We could say with certainty, a person in this context would not do such a thing. So that anan sadi causes us to ignore the weakened chazaka. Just to give you an example. The Gemara has a shaila in Bava Basra. If a person borrows money, So whenever a person borrows, we say a person normally doesn't pay back within 30 days. Doesn't pay. Person doesn't pay a debt within 30 days. Okay? So the Gemara has a question like this. A person borrows money, and after 30 days, the lender comes to the borrower and says, you didn't pay me. So let's say after 30 days, he would say parati. He would say, I paid. He's believed. Because the Gemara says, even if you borrow with witnesses, one doesn't have to repay with witnesses. Because unless there was a stipulation that he has to. But under normal circumstances, a person who borrows with does not have to pay. So if you say parati lachazman, or after the debt was due, he's believed. During the 30 days, he's not believed. The lender comes, he says, you didn't pay me. He says, I did pay you. I paid you within 30 days. What do you mean I didn't pay you? 2 weeks after I borrowed, I paid you. But he's saying this after 30 days. So Mar is a shayla. Do I believe him because we have a chazaka? Person normally doesn't pay within 30 days. He's not believed. That's a chazaka. Or do I say he has a migu? What's his migu? Believe me that I paid you during 30 days, because if I wanted to be dishonest, I could have said I paid you after 30 days. And if I paid you after 30 days, people do pay debts after 30 days. I wouldn't have had a headache with you, right? I would have been believed without a problem. So therefore, believe me, I paid during 30 days, because if I would have wanted to be dishonest, I could have said I paid you after 30 days. Okay? The Gemara leaves it unresolved. It's a migu b'bok chazaka. Is he believed or not believed? It's there. It's countering the chazaka. The migu is countering the chazaka. Chazaka is einodem perechov tosmano. Is the chazaka, is the migu strong enough to overcome the chazaka? Because we have a principle: person normally doesn't pay. Does that tell us that he's the exception? Factually, we know there are people who do once in a while pay. Is the migu sufficient? Because there's a cheskes chiyuv. There's a chazaka, he owes the money. Yeah, but nobody said he paid. He paid. So the question is, the chazaka, a person doesn't pay within 30 days. That comes to reinforce the original obligation. So does the migu negate that? Doesn't the migu negate it? Wait, I didn't finish. Other relevance is it after here. So over there, the question is, over there Tosei has a question. We have situations where migu is believed against the chazaka, or it isn't. So Tosei says over there, see, there are two types of chazaka. There's a chazaka, let's say a person has a cheskes heter. That's called presumed status. We have a migu going against that. That's a fact. It's established. Here we're dealing with a chazaka, which is a svara. It's a svara. Ein odam periach chov tosmano. A person doesn't pay. It's a different concept of chazaka. Here, migu is a logical concept, and the chazaka here is a logical concept. Person doesn't pay. So that we say, is he the exception or is not the exception? But if you have a presumed status, what is the strength of a presumed status? Woman has a cheskes heter. I have a migu, and so the migu itself, what the Gemara says over there, Martin Bavabas has a case. A man goes with a certified document, and he comes to the debtor he wants to collect. The debtor goes and says it's a forgery. It's a forgery. So, but it's certified. If it's certified by the court, it's shtar mekuyam. You could scream, you could say forgery from today to tomorrow. I have a certified document you collect. So the lender goes and whispers into the ear of Reb Nachman and says, the truth is, it is a forgery. It is a forgery. But why did I forge a document? Because I had a document, and I knew that unless I reproduce another document, I'm not getting my money from this person. Unless I have proof, he will not pay the debt. So I went and forged the document to be able to collect what's rightfully mine. So the Gemara has a whole discussion. It's malo de shakir. If he would have been truly dishonest, he could have easily collected with the forged document because it was a perfect forgery. It was a certified document. He's being honest by saying the truth is I did forge it. However, because I knew without it I couldn't collect, so he could have remained silent, right? He could have, if he would have remained silent, he would have no problem collecting with the document. Correct? It's because he was honest and he exposed himself. Therefore, do you believe him or not? Do we say mali l'shakir? Could you be motzi moment over there, right? That's mali l'shakir. That's there. It's amigo. That's amigo. Here, mali l'shakir over here means it's biyodo. The mali l'shakir means it's biyodo. If he wanted to free, believe me, because if I want to free her from I could always give her a get. So therefore, she's not tied to the Yavam. Right? That's the question is, to what degree does that negate the original Chazaka? Does it totally wipe it out, negate it, nullify it totally, or is it only weakened? Is it weakened? If it's nullified, so it's established, there are no brothers. Right? She's definitely not a Yavama. That's Rebbe. According to the Reb Nosson, says no. All it does is it weakens it. It's there. So therefore, when you come back and say later, there are Achim, right? Or there are no sons, right? I have brothers, there are no sons. Then what? It's reestablished. And therefore, we don't allow her to remarry. When he married her. And there was a chazaka that there were brothers. So the sons went and negated it. So what degree did it negate it? Did it totally nullify it, or it weakened it? Reb Nosson. That's right, I understand. But what does he say? He has no sons. No sons. Did it negate the chazaka brothers or not? Okay, let's start the next Mishnah. Good. No, but no. Wait a second. What do you have to make that statement? Abai saying that. No, wait. Abai says it's being that they were mursaglam ba'ochi. The word out there in the community was that there were brothers. He has brothers overseas. That's mursaglam, but there was mursag ba'ochi. He's only putting out a reason because word in the community is that he has brothers. He's worried. But let's say there's no basis. Nobody says they were brothers. He doesn't have. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. He says he has children. Let's say we don't have a word about children. Wait a second. Let's say we don't even know if brothers ever exist. Nobody heard. Before he dies, he says, "I have brothers." We don't believe him. We don't believe him there. Not because of get or anything. Why should we believe him? When he married her, there was no mention of brothers. There's no word of brothers ever. We don't even know he has brothers anywhere. Wait a second. Of course he's not believed. Everybody agrees he's not believed. It's only because it's mursaglam ba'ochi. It's only because before he married her, word was in the community that he has brothers. So there he had to negate that he has children. But if, let's say we never knew we ever had brothers, all of a sudden he says, I have brothers. Irrelevant what he says. She has a chazaka. She has a cheskes hetel l'shuk. She remarries as soon as he dies. Before he says, I have brothers. We ignore it. This is the story of Moshe under the chuppah. Remember the story I told over? She says, by the way, my daughter's a mamzeris, right? That's what she said, this woman. She was a Holocaust survivor, lady, whatever it is. She was born illegitimately. So he wanted to disrupt the whole ceremony. This is the grandmother under the chuppah. Moshe was the Masada kiddushin. He just ignored the woman. Okay. I'm not.
If Muslim says he has brothers, if he says he has no brothers, he's nothing. He has to say he has children.
Because exactly. Okay. Provides only financial. What does he provide? It's only after he divorces or after he dies. Upon death or divorce, he has to provide finances, financial payout or security. Sure, definitely. Death also. But a death is a greater financial obligation. He has to provide for her food, for her residence, for her clothing. That's part of the ksubah. We're talking about not that she committed adultery. Yeah. Cancel. No, that's the payout. That is the payout. Now he has to pay. If he divorces, now he has to pay her. The Gemara says one of the rationales of ksuba was a man gets upset with his wife. He says, go. Gives her a get. But if he's going to have a financial consequence, he's going to think many times before he gives her that divorce. Right? So it's lo take kalabein of lotzio. What do you mean, honor it? A man's not permitted to be married to a woman unless he has a ksuba. That's a prerequisite to every marriage. It's all the same text. There's a basic text. You want to add to it, you can add to it to add money. But there's a basic base amount of money that every husband has to provide for a wife.
So you wouldn't look at the specifics.
No.
Because if I were the woman in that situation, and I was concerned about this because there was this word that was out there, sons and no children, and there were no children.
No sons is good. She wants it, that he has sons. But of course, she's not interested in falling to Ibum. Then that complicates her life. He has brothers, right.
And there's no children. Brothers and there are no children. And he says, don't worry, because I'll give you the gift.
Because I could always give you the get. Therefore, believe me that I have no brothers.
He said
That I have children.
he's going to give her the gift, that conditional.
No. He's not giving her a conditional get. He can give her the get. He actually didn't give her a get. Did not give her a get. It's biyodo. He has within his power to give her the get.
If he didn't give her such a gift, the woman is at risk.
He's already believed. He already established he has no brothers.
She herself is at risk.
Why is she at risk?
Because a man doesn't know when he's going to die. It's a presumption that
Wait a second. Factually, he didn't give her a get. He didn't give her. He died. He didn't give her a conditional get. Didn't give her a conditional get. But he can give her if he would choose to give her. Could he give such a get? Yeah, but he did not. He gave her nothing. But she has a ksuba. It has no relevance. Collecting ksuba is a separate discussion. The question is, why do I initially believe him? Why do I believe him when he says, I have sons? Why should I believe him? Because he has within his ability to protect her from the brothers. How? By divorcing her. Let's say he would divorce her a moment before he dies. It works. So she's not bound to the brothers.
I'm saying that presumption, I would only give it once if he actually went through with
It's not a presumption. This concept biyodo we had earlier. Why is a father believed to say that his daughter, originally Gemara started, is married? Right? Because it's within his power. Why is a person believed to say that the produce that was tevel has been tithed? Even though there's a chazaka, until now, there's a presumption it was not tithed. Because at this moment, he has the ability to tithe because he owns the grain. I don't need the counter.
Counter is this. Put oneself in the woman's situation. She's worried about this. And he says, he's going to comfort her. I'm going to put your mind at ease.
Because I have sons. I have sons. He says, what he says, I have sons. If I have sons, you have nothing to worry about.
There's a rumor circulating.
So therefore, even if the room is there, if I have sons, the brothers are irrelevant.
But she's hearing two different things at this point.
She's hearing brothers, but they're sons. If they're sons, there's no problem with brothers.
But she also heard that there were no children.
No. He tells her before they get married, there are children. It's not a conditional marriage. Right? It's not conditional. He just tells her, I have sons. Or daughters, sons, I have children. If I have children, that means even though I have brothers, you have nothing to worry about. If I should die, you're free to marry. That's what he tells her.
And there isn't a contrary word out there. I thought we said that
No contrary word. No.
the opposite.
No contrary word. It would only be a problem if later he wants to retract that there are no sons or no children, then we have a problem. Of course, originally we had word out in the community was that they were brothers. So if they're brothers, we have a problem. That means she's not going to be permitted to remarry. Therefore, we don't believe him to retract for that reason. That's Rebbe.
Did he say that when he retracts that there are no sons? Did he say the whole thing that there's no sons and no brothers?
Can't, because factually, the word in the community they were brothers.
Brothers.
He's
That
not the
you
one.
can't get rid of, right?
He didn't say that. It's Muchzak Lambochi. Okay, let's start the next Mishnah. Hamakarish is bito stam. Person says, I married off my daughter. Now the question, which daughter? Person has 6 daughters. They're all minors. He says, I married off my daughters. He has, let's say, 3 minors, 3 daughters above the age of 12 and a half. A father cannot marry off a daughter once she leaves his domain, once she's a Bulgaris, correct? So if he says, I married off my daughters, I don't remember which daughter I married off. So all the minors are off limits, right? Because every one of them is possible that she was the one that he married off.
If he's saying that he married
What?
he married
No. He says just recently. Where he gave Hamakadesh es bito stam, ena bogros bichlal. Okay, we'll see. The bogros are not included. Any daughter who's beyond his, outside of his domain, of course. I know, but we're only saying we'll see why. Mishesh lo shtei kitei banos, mishtei noshim. Person has two groups of children from two women. So some of the daughters are older, some of the daughters are younger. So he has the older daughters, all the daughters from the first wife are older than all the daughters from the second wife. So even the youngest daughter of the first group is older than the older daughter of the second group, right? And every daughter of the second group, the one who's not the youngest, is older than the one below her, right? Just giving you an introduction to what the questions are, okay? So he has two groups of daughters from two wives. V'omar, ki dashti es biti agdola. He says, I married off my eldest daughter. He said Hagdol, the older one. He didn't say eldest. My older daughter. Ve'eni yodea, and he says he doesn't recall. Eini yodea im gedola shebegedolos. Was it the oldest? O gedola shebektanos? Or it was the older of the lesser group of the other group? O ktana shebegedolos? Or the youngest of the first group? Yeah? She gedola min agdolos, who's older than the second group set of daughters. Right? The youngest of the first group is older than the oldest of the second group. She gedola min agdolos. She gedola min agdol shebektanos. Kulan asuras chutz min aktano shebektanos. Divrei Meir. Meir says the only one that's permitted is the youngest of all the daughters. Because she has no relevance to be gedola. Because every daughter is older than the one lesser than her. And he doesn't recall what he meant when he said gedola. Rabbi Yossi mekulam mutoros chutz min agdola shebgedolos. We say all the daughters are permitted except the eldest, the older of all the daughters. No, he knows who the husband is. Right? I'm marrying you off to my oldest daughter, to the gedola. Okay, now the question: who's his wife? He doesn't know. Okay. Kidashli is biti aktano. Man says, I married off my young daughter, haktano. And yodeim ktana shebektanos is the youngest of all my daughters, o ktana shebgedolos, or the youngest of the older daughters, o gedola shebektanos, or the older one of the younger, shiktana min aktanos, shiktana min aktanos shebgedolos, who's younger than the ones who are older. Kulan asuros, all the daughters are forbidden, chutz min agdolish begdolos, except the eldest, because she has no relevance. Same thing, just inverting the case. Divrei Meir. Rabbi Yosef again, kulan matoros, chutz min aktanish begdalos. The Gemara is going to say, because we say when a person speaks, a person doesn't speak in a way where if it ever should come a question, he's not sure what it is. He always will not put himself in a compromised position that what he says, he's going to create a problem for himself. So if he uses that term he meant, it's clear, it's discernible. Gedola means the oldest. Kthana means the youngest. That's Rabbi Yossi. Eino dem moches atzmo l'sofik. A person doesn't allow himself to get into a questionable situation. They will have to get a get. Every one of them has to get a get from the same guy, because he's not sure who his wife is. No, he can't. No, because everyone's an achosishto. No, he can't. No, he can't. He can't marry, because everyone is a question. It may be the sister of his wife, right? As long as they're alive, he's not allowed to marry the sister of his wife, because it's a suffix, right? Correct. Right. They can't marry a suffix grusha. Right? That's pasha. That's simple. Okay. No, he said no. When he said originally, we said when a person speaks that way, what does he mean? It's always when a person says that, what does he mean? Does he mean the youngest or the oldest, or does he mean the one who's younger or the one who's older? So we say when a person speaks, he means the oldest or he means the youngest. That's the way people speak. Doesn't make a difference. We say, but that's the way a person normally speaks. No, because the words, it may be that a person. So yeah. One second. Hok tanish bichlal. So the Gemara asks, we're saying if he has multiple young daughters, all the daughters, the young daughters, as we said, are off limits. Now we had a discussion in the second parak, kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah. If a person marries a woman and it's unclear who's his wife, is it valid or not? We had a machlokes Abai and Rava. Abai says kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah havi kiddushin. That even though you're not able to cohabit, if you marry a woman where it's questionable who the wife is, you marry one of two sisters, you're not sure which is your wife. So each one's a nachos ishto. Abai says the kiddushin's a kiddushin. Even though it's kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah, even though the kiddushin itself you cannot cohabit. Initially, you were never able to cohabit with that. He says, I'm marrying one of you two. According to Rav, it's not a valid marriage. Because that's kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah. Because the Torah says, kikach ish isha, it says, uvo. Right? Uvo aleo. He has to be able to cohabit. That's a prerequisite to marriage. If there was never a time that you were able, permitted to cohabit with her, it's not a marriage. That's kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah. Abai says, kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah is what? Is a marriage. And we had discussion. We had this machlokes in the second parak. We ruled this is one of the Yalka Gams. We rule like Abai that kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah havi kiddushin. It is a marriage. So over here, seemingly, we see from the Mishnah that kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah havi kiddushin, because it says they're all the younger ones. They're all within the question, except what? Except for the oldest, right? Because if the ketanos, right? Whoever's in his domain, they're within the suffix, according to Reb Meir, right? Ha ketanos bichlal, shma bino, kiddushin shem yisur lebiyah havi kiddushin. So seemingly, we're able to prove from this Mishnah that although he's not able to cohabit with her, even from the very beginning, it's a kiddushin. Just want to bring out something. There's a famous argument, yesh breira ein breira. The Gemara speaks about a case where you have a barrel of wine, which is tevel, and it's right before Shabbos, and the person doesn't have enough time to physically remove the various tithes, truma, the mice, or whatever has to be done. So he says that shnei lugan shani yosad lahafrish, 2 pints that I will take out Motzei Shabbos should be truma now. What? Not a left. He didn't say it a left. Shnei lugan shani yosad. No, he's identified. 2 that I will take out Motzei Shabbos, that should be truma now. Right? 10% should be meiser. So wait a second. So if you hold yesh breira, we permit him to drink the wine on Shabbos, although you're not, at this moment, you're not sure which is the truma. But since he said the 2 which I will take on Motzei Shabbos, yesh breira, so he's able to. If you hold ein breira, he's not permitted. Okay, so there's an argument. What does it mean ein breira? That since at this moment you're not sure which of the 2 that are coming on Motzei Shabbos, you're not permitted to drink. So the question is like, what about a Kohen? A Kohen's permitted to drink truma, correct? He's permitted to consume truma. Is a Kohen permitted to drink that wine, even if you hold ein breira? Right? Since the machlokes, the 2 answers, 2 positions. The Ran's position in Nidorim, and one of the position of Tosis in Eruvin, that if you affect something and you're not sure what you're affecting, the effect is not effect. Here, you want to affect 2 pints. When you're affecting the 2 pints now, do you know which 2 pints you're affecting? It'll only be revealed Motzei Shabbos. If you don't know what you're affecting, you cannot affect something if you don't know what you're affecting. So it remains tevil. So therefore, even the Kohen would not. It's not a valid tithing. That's the position of Ein Breira. Yesh Breira is you could affect it. The other position is Ein Breira means no, it's affected. However, since it's not clear that the two you take out tomorrow night are those two, therefore that's the reason why you're not permitted to drink it. So Kohen said it is effective immediately. So a Kohen is permitted to eat Truma. So you have Truma and Chulin intermingled. So therefore the Kohen could drink it. It's only the Yisrael is not permitted to drink. If it's not effective, it's tevel. It's not a valid tithing. So then even a Kohen couldn't drink it. We'll continue tomorrow.